Hey, folks, it's Squiddy Tattoo Squid Podcast here with another episode. Man, this one by myself. Um, it's Monday. I usually do on the weekends, but you know how things are. You need like a side job, and the side job I did was on Saturday and Sunday. Um, Let me fix something here because I'm looking this way. Yeah, like I have some kind of uh crazy thing going on here. Uh, we'll just leave it the way it is. I should have fixed it before, but as it is. Yeah, so Saturday and Sunday I was working and I was tired, and fell asleep, so uh, shit happens. But we are going to talk about, well, let's first off, we'll go by low. Um, See, I am a fan of cartoons. Everybody knows this. I love cartoons, like the older ones. Like you get Transformers, you get your Silverhawks, Thundercats, Laugh Olympics, the whole nine yards. But my favorite one is G.I. Joe. Okay, I'm just waiting for the, you know, sound bar to come in. But I've been watching it, and I love how they do it. Especially at the end when they give you the public service announcements. Some of these people now they try to mix it up and just put crazy craziness into the whole thing. Public service announcement is supposed to be something that helps kids out, helps people out, to help kids. More likely if you leave kids home, don't ever leave your kids home. Unattended or anything, especially if if they're cooking or whatnot. That's what the public service announcements are for. But G.I. Joe, I love how they do it, because it's very realistic, but it's like the U.S. has their own military combat unit, like we do, but they call this one like G.I. Joe. But they all have cool code names. But the code names are not like ones that we make up for ourselves. Um, it's like ones where it's just basic from what they do. Like you got your snow troopers. Like the ones that are so familiar with the snow. Like they got one called Snow Job, and then they have one called Frostbite. Another one called Iceberg. So it's familiar with everyday wording. You know, um, then they got like a firefighter like Blowtorch, and they got a guy that drives around with this toll booth thing, and hence the name is toll booth. But then you get your average names. You get your Duke, you got your General Hawk, Lady J, Scarlet, kind of like Scarlet O'Hara. Roadblock. And it's not like the movies. Movies, okay, fine, they depict from the cartoon, but honestly, when they do the movies, folks, you can tell from me as well as yourself. You can see that it's not like the cartoon. If you ever watched the cartoons, you know, because it's like when they deal with X Men. I'm not gonna mix it up and all that with X Men, but with X Men, they had everything going all together in one movie unit. They had every character, but those characters are supposed to come in a certain time with the sequence of events. But with G.I. Joe, they got everybody coming in, and they go and do, in the beginning it was like Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness, uh, Major Blood, Firefly, Storm Shadow, and then, but also, what would you think your code name would be? Mine, honestly, we could, because hence Squid, but the reason why it's called Squid, folks, and it's a funny thing. I worked in a company with a friend of mine, named Mark, and he would go and he at that time I was very skinny. I mean, nowadays I'm a little bit, I got some weight around the edges, but I was skinny, like maybe like 160 pounds or something like that. Um, but then there was a friend of mine, Pete. So they compared us. Like, oh well, this guy looks like Squidward, which that's what they were calling me, but they call me Squiddy. So that's why I always go, bring Squiddies. And so then hence the name Tattoo Squid. So pretty much it was like that kind of thing. So now, but he always called me Squid Wheezy, you know. So, but and his nickname was Big Daddy Hodge. And then we had another friend, we call him the Squirrel Face Killer, for obvious reasons. Yeah, and for that, I would say that the guy's cheeks are like this, like he's storing nuts. No, maybe. But that's them. So I gave myself the code name, Squid Wheezy, because that's where I was known by. Friends of mine that I work with, but I gave nicknames to, or code names to other people. Like, you got your, X-Lax, you got Smokehouse, who else is there? Sidewinder, Ghostface. I gotta think about it because I know I see the people and I'm trying to remember the names. Slapshot, Recon. There's Locks for the hair of Locks. Um, there's another person, isn't there? Uh, Air something. Air. I'll remember it probably later on. But anyway, GI Joe is like great, kind of a cool way to, and I've been rewatching it on YouTube, and it's really I just love the series. They go into like, and it gets really in depth. It's like they have their things about kidnapping or putting under people under spells and um, other vast knowledge of different stuff that nobody really thinks about. But G.I. Joe, America's Hero, um, and now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Yo, Joe. Well, anyway, so we got that out of the way. Let's talk about witches, folks. Not bitches, witches. Witches. Uh, Now we all know about like Halloween and they got Salem, Massachusetts, where they made movies. Like Salem's Lot, where they had the original and then the remake and another remake and fucking remakes. Anyway, uh, so let's get into the origins of witches. Now I'm getting this from history, so I'm not gonna read it word for word, but I'm gonna try to do the best I can with certain ones because they got some big ass words that this with cannot pronounce very well. Because I did have that thing about the THs. I think I told you that once before, but let's all not reminisce about that whole thing. But anyway, early witches were people who practiced witchcraft. Well, duh. Using magic spells and calling upon spirits to help out to bring about change. Now, if you wish you can do that, I mean, that would be so cool. I mean, it would. You know, like if you really want to be debt free, right? Like me, I would love to have like no, no bills, none of these fucking people that keep on calling me every goddamn day. It's like, oh, you want health insurance? I'm like, no, I haven't. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, uh, I digress. Um, so don't you wish you ever had like witches, like powers kind of thing, or if they call it, for guys, warlocks. Uh, so you can get your debt done. Um, you can have that one person that you like, and you can have them fall in love with you, or some kind of thing. You know, uh, but that there's a lot of stuff that can happen with that. But then it could backfire and do something wrong. Most witches were thought to be pagans doing the devil's work. Well, that's back in the day, but pagans now have strip clubs. Uh, and that's not the devil's work. No, no, that's just way of life. But there's none around anymore. Anyway, many, however, were simply natural healers or so-called wise women whose choice of profession was misunderstood. Well, yeah, of course, they can be called doctors too. Because a lot of people that are doctors and do all these medicines and cures people, it could be witchcraft. No. It's unclear exactly when witches came on the historical scene, but one of the earliest records of a witch is in the Bible, the book of 1 Samuel. Thought be written between 931 BC and 721 BC. It tells the story of when King Saul sought the witch of Endor. See, now, isn't Endor with the Ewoks? So she's from Ewok, I think. I don't know, but that's what Star Wars says. It's like Endor. Endor is where the Ewoks live. That it is. To summon the dead prophet Samuel's spirit to help him defeat the Palestine army. Or Palestine. The witch roused Samuel. Roused. I mean, honestly, what? Roused? You mean aroused? Or you just, like raised? Did they say raised? Maybe. Who then prophesied the death of Samuel and his sons. The next day, according to the Bible, Saul's sons died in battle, and Saul committed suicide. Well, that's some bullshit. Okay. Other Old Testament verses condemn witches, such as the oft-cited Exodus 22:18, which says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." Now that's wrong. You should put that on people like that. That's uncouth. You know, Additional biblical passages causes against divination, chanting, or using witches to contact the dead. Nowadays they call them prophets, or what do they call them nowadays? You go and like, oh, I almost did that, folks. I almost did. I almost went to one of these people, but then you had to pay like a certain amount of money. Um, so you pay this money, and then apparently they get a hold of your. Hold on, people, stop calling me. Thank you. All right. But I went there and I talked to the person. And, I didn't go and talk to the person. I wanted to, but then they said, "Oh, it's gonna be like $300 just so they could talk to air." And would they talk to people? I don't know. I mean, I have friends that are Wiccan, um, and they do see stuff. So I mean, and my friend, Veronica V, Paranormal V. She's not doing it anymore. But she is she has abilities. And I've seen this firsthand when I had her on two, maybe three times, I think. And she's the deal. Okay, let's go on. Malleus. Here goes the big words, folks. I told you. Malleus Maleficarum. Yes, I think that's what it is. Witch hysteria. That's weird. Witch hysteria. Really took hold in Europe during the mid 1400s when many accused witches confessed, often under torture to a varieties of wicked behaviors. Within a century, witch hunts were common, and most of the accused were executed by burning at the stake or hanging. Single women, widows, and other women on the margins of society were especially targeted. Now, I remember stories where if they figured a person's a witch because of certain things they do, they think it's witchcraft. Yeah. Which back then they didn't really know about a lot of things, and people that do know, like the women that did know a lot of things, were called witches. But when they try to find out how they're a witch, from what I've seen or read, they would put them in on a dunking thing and then dunk them in the water, like like a teeter totter. But they would go and sit them in one end, and then they'll dunk them, and then bring them up. Are you a witch? No, and so forth. But that's how it is. But the burning of the stake, that's only if, I think, and this is my opinion, that if they did something bad, mean, towards a lot of people with malice and discontent, then you get burned at the stake or you get hanged, but not just because, you think they're a witch. I don't know. That's a little hard, to do. Between the years 1500 and 1660, up to 80,000 suspected witches were put to death in Europe. Around 8% of them were women thought to be in cahoots with the devil and filled with lust. That's just being horny. It's, oh God. Hey, let's kill him. He's horny. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, I would have been dead a long time ago. But, and so is every person in America. But that's America. Germany had the highest witchcraft execution rate, while Ireland had the lowest. Wow. Okay. The publication of said name I said in the beginning, because I'm not repeating it, written by two well-respected German Dominicans. Okay. In 1486. I'm not a person of wondering about this, but German Dominicans? I mean, there was Dominicans in Germany? I didn't know. That's news to me. Okay. Likely spurred witch mania to go viral. So, the book, usually translated as The Hammer of Witches, was essentially a guide on how to identify, hunt, and interrogate witches. Well, I mean, if you read the book before you go in... Alright, so if this was going to be made in 1480s, let's do the math, folks. 1486, this is where they did the book. And the book would say, okay, a guide on how to identify, hunt, and interrogate witches. But then you fast forward the years of 1500 to 1660, and 80,000 suspected witches were put to death. Apparently they didn't read the fucking book. Around 80% of them were women with cahoots and for lust. But then all of a sudden now you're getting like hanging and burning at the stake and all that. But did they read the book? No, they didn't, because they're illiterate. But anyway, I had to just get off my chest. All right. Labeled witchcraft as heresy and quickly became the authority of Protestants and Catholics trying to flush out witches living among them. For more than 100 years, the book sold more copies than any other book in Europe except the Bible. Well, of course, And see, now this is what I'm talking about, the Salem witch trials. That's where they were doing the dunking, and we're going to find out something about it. So, as witch hysteria decreased in Europe, it grew in the New World, which is us. We're the New World, which was reeling from wars between French and British, a smallpox epidemic, and an ongoing fear of attacks from neighboring Native American tribes. The tense atmosphere was ripe for finding scapegoats. Probably best known witch trials took place in Salem, Massachusetts, 1692. See, there I go. It's in. That's why I want to go. I want to go on vacation. I really want to go on vacation, even for a couple of days. I don't care. I'll go for like 2 or 3 fucking days. I want to go to Salem, Massachusetts, just to see where everything was and going on. Most of my friends went there. Hell, my friends went to the diner where they filmed Friday the 13th. I want to go there too. I want to get like, a nice side of eggs with a bloody pitchfork. But the Salem witch trials began with a 9-year-old Elizabeth Parris and an 11-year-old Abigail Williams. Began suffering from fits, body contortions, and uncontrolled screaming. Today, it is believed that they were poisoned by a fungus that caused spasms and delusions. See, now that's how we know as a community that we know about all this stuff now, because our science and all that is very more advanced than it was in 1692 or so. Because back then it was like, oh my God, they're a witch, they're convulsing, they're contortions, they're uncontrolled screaming, but it was all, fungus. As more young women began to exhibit symptoms, mass hysteria ensued, and 3 women were accused of witchcraft: Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba. That's a name. Sarah Good, Sarah. I was hoping for like Sarah Good, Sarah Bad, Sarah maybe. But an enslaved woman owned by Paris's father. Tituba confessed to being a witch and began accusing others of using black magic. On June 10th, Bridget Bishop. Well, that's a conundrum of a name. Began the first accused witch to be put to death during the Salem witch trial when she was hanged at the Salem gallows. Ultimately, around 150 people were accused and 18 were put to death. Women weren't the only victims of Salem witch trials. 6 men were also convicted and executed, which would be... Oh, what was the word? Oh, shit, I'm having a moment here, folks. You got witches, warlocks. There you go. They started with the fucking W's. Anyway, I don't know why I hit myself like that for. Massachusetts wasn't the first of the 13 counties to obsess with witches, though in Windsor, Connecticut, everything happens in Connecticut, folks. Like I had that story about those little demons. No, that's Kentucky. All right. The sounding sounded the same. 1647. Alice Young was the first person in America executed for witchcraft. Before Connecticut's final witch trial took place in 1697, 46 people were accused of witchcraft in the state, and 11 were put to death for the crime. Okay, well, that's one state. In Virginia, people were less frantic about witches. In fact, Lower Norfolk County in 1655, a law was passed making it a crime to falsely accuse someone of witchcraft. Well, hey, at least now they got laws in place, for it. Still, witchcraft was a concern. About 24 witch trials, mostly of women, took place in Virginia between 1626 and 1730. None of the accused were executed. Well, yeah, but they didn't look at the ones that was all the way in 1486 and 1500s and 1660. Folks, this is getting interesting. Are witches real? It's asking us. I'm asking the question: are they real? I think I wouldn't first say them as being witches, but let's see what this says. It's probably gonna say something different. One of the most famous witches in Virginia history is Grace Sherwood, whose neighborhood alleged she killed their pigs and hexed their cotton. Now, folks, how do you hex a cotton? Cotton is used for, keeping you warm and everything. And what, they're going to hex it that you're going to be, scratchy or some shit? I don't know. Other accusations followed, and Sherwood was brought to trial in 1706. The court decided to use a controversial water test to determine her guilt or innocence. The dunking. I told you. Sherwood's arms and legs were bound as she was thrown into a body of water. It was thought if she sank, she was innocent. Folks, now that's just killing a person. She sank. Well, she's innocent. Well, yeah, she's fucking dead. If she floated, she was guilty. No, she. Oh God, people in the 1400s are idiots. They have no education. Sherwood didn't sink and was convicted of being a witch. She wasn't killed, but put in prison for 8 years. Well, hey, serial killers in there for longer. A sacral article written by Benjamin Franklin, the guy with the key and electricity, about a witch trial in New Jersey was published in 1730 in the Pennsylvania Gazette. It brought to light the ridiculousness of some witchcraft accusations. It wasn't long before witch mania died down. Witch mania, that's probably where Hulkamania came from. Died down in the New World, and laws were passed to help protect people from being wrongly accused and convicted. Now, hey, no jumping on there. So, we get into, now we did the witches are real. There's a Book of Shadows. Now, I know there's a book, we all seen Hocus Pocus. There's witches, there's an ugly witch, there's another ugly witch, but then there is a nice looking witch. But that's Hocus Pocus. And they do have a Book of Shadows. Book of Shadows also, they had a movie of the Blair Witch Project, which to me, folks, when I write this down, so we'll forget, Blair Witch. To me, it wasn't a scary movie. I don't know. I got different tastes, I guess. But, the whole video camera thing. Ooh, okay, just play it out. But they had a Book of Shadows, which is the second movie, and, they got the book, and they read it, and whatnot. But let's see what they say about the Book of Shadows now. Modern-day witches in the Western world still struggle to shake their historical stereotype. Most practice Wicca, or Wiccan, an official religion in the United States and Canada, which I know a couple of women that do that. Wiccans avoid evil and the appearance of evil at all costs. Their motto is to harm none, and they strive to live a peaceful, tolerant, and balanced life in tune with nature and humanity. See, look, that's good. They kind of like early day hippies. I'm not saying that to be offensive. That's what it just sounds like. Because people love nature and all that. They want to be peaceful, tolerant, and balanced life in tune with nature and humanity. So it kind of sounds like that. My many modern day witches still perform witchcraft, but there is seldom anywhere sinister about it. Their spells and incantations are often derived from the Book of Shadows, a 20th century collection of wisdom and witchcraft, and can be compared to the act of prayer in other religions. In modern day witchcraft, potion is more likely to be an herbal remedy for flu instead of a hex to harm someone. Now, folks, you know me. I don't really talk about religion. I don't really talk about politics. But this is not like anything about politics. But this is like somewhat like obviously about religion. But does it mean we are somewhat? I'm not saying we're Wiccan, but we do have a book, which is a Bible, and do active prayers like other people do with religions. So Wicca is a religion. You have to respect people's religion. So today's witchcraft spells are usually used to stop someone from doing evil or harming themselves. Ironically, while it's probably some historical witches use witchcraft for evil purposes, many may embrace it for healing or protection against immortality they are accused of. Now, I can understand the healing, but why are you going to be protected against the immorality? Oh, I thought immortality. Uh, I was going to say, why would you protect yourself from being immortal? I would love to be immortal. Let me live on, just be, uh, living to the end of days, or whenever, or until aliens come by and say, "Hey, we're gonna plug your butt," But aliens plugging butt. Okay. Let's see how I can get down. Plug, plug. OPL. Plug butt. Um. Yes, I'm writing that down, folks. I'm putting it as a thing, so it's gonna be an episode arc. But witches, whether actual or accused, still face prosecution and death. Several men and women suspect that using witchcraft has been beaten and killed in Papua New Guinea since 2010. Ooh, we're getting near our kind of thing, including a young mother who was burned alive. Similar episodes of violence against people accused of being witches have occurred in Africa, South America, the Middle East, and in immigrant communities in Europe and the United States. Now that is some crazy stuff. We're not going to go any further because I don't want to bore you. I'm not saying you're going to get bored, but this is like very cool stuff to know. I am going to go and try to do more stuff, not with witches, but um, you know, wait a minute. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, there goes that 1690. No, 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 no. We're not having videos. Thank you. It might help, but here's that 1692 year. In January 1692, a group of young girls in Massachusetts became consumed by disturbing fits. Well, yeah, the same thing. Uh, according to English law, 19 of them, of the victims, were instead taken to the infamous gallows, not by hanging the elderly guys. Well, in any case, that's where I want to go. I want to go to Salem, Massachusetts. Look at the Gallows Hills. Uh, you know, and if it's anything like Scooby Doo the cartoon, where they were doing that whole thing about witchcraft and so, but folks, if you do come across somebody that is, and they say they're a witch, they're not evil. They are not there to hurt you. They'll do herbal medicines. Um, they want to help. They don't go in a book and raise the dead. Well, maybe some, but um, You know, even tarot cards. Oh, you know what? I want to see about tarot cards. If you bear with me, folks, I just want to I want to see like the history of tarot cards. Since we're on the subject of witchcraft, let's see what tarot card meanings are. Okay, let's see. Tarot cards' meanings are based on the suit and the value of the revealed card. The suit represents the broader life category of a card, which is an action, emotion, logic, or physicality. The value indicates the specific message or event of a card, such as people, events, or challenges. There are four suits. There are a tarot card deck: wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. Each suit is associated with the element and a zodiac sign. So I guess it's like an element. And so, all right, let's go learn. Ooh, tarot.com. Okay, so we got the Fool. Now I think this is all the tarot cards. We got the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, not the TV show, but the thing, Justice. We want justice. No. The Hanged Man, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. So there's also, let's see, the Wands. Now this is one of those categories. The Wands cards are about action, initiative, and invention that help you guide how you move through your life, advise when to move and when to hold back. So there's Ace of Hands, Two of Wands, Three of Wands, Four of Wands, Five of Wands, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, and King of Wands. Now the cups are representative for emotions, intuition, and relationships. They can guide you in love and help you understand and process the highest and lowest of feelings. So you got your cups from the Ace to the Page. Yeah, same thing. It's just cups. The Swords. The Swords cards are all about challenges. You can tell when conflict and heartache are looming and help you harness the strength of your own mind. Again, it goes on and on, blah, blah, blah. The same kind of stuff, but with swords at the end. And the fourth one, and I think the last one, Pentacles. The Pentacle cards are associated with your work, finances, and domestic life that can answer questions about your personal goals and your money, family, and health. See, that's what we need. We need something like this, maybe, to help us out if we're at our work. That is what our work is. Like if the work that we're working at is our work that we want to be at. Finances, make sure our finances are not screwed. Um, and your domestic life, where it is peaceful and you live a healthy life. And your health, make sure that you don't have any diseases or whatnot. Um, but I mean that we know now. We call it. There's four sets. There's a pentacle, pentacles, swords. You got cups and wands for the. Alright, so we're gonna put wands, cups, pentacles, and swords for the suit of tarot cards. So, folks, what did we learn today? We learned that G.I. Joe is a great American hero. that fights evil against Cobra. Um, with every knowledge and code name that they have. And then we go on to witchcraft, where witches are not just evil from 1600 to the 1500s to the 1692s, burning at the stakes, and now it comes around to being a Wicca, and everything is nice and peaceful. But you might have your witches somewhere that could be evil. To down to the tarot card reading of what the tarot cards are, and they're for things of the wand, swords, cups, and pentacles. So, if you learn anything from this episode, folks, I try to bring some knowledge towards anybody, and I try to have guests, which I would love to have more guests come on. If anybody has listened to this episode and knows anything about the wands, the cups, the swords, the pentacles, witches, G.I. Joe, um, you know, please message me. Instagram, um, that's tattoo-squid.podcast, or you can go to Twitter at podcast tattoo squid, and just leave a message and say, hey, I want to be on your show. I know about this and this, and I heard about witchcraft, maybe. But also people that are podcasters, musicians, celebrities, um, anybody that writes books, hence the witchcraft books, maybe. What else? Like I said, musicians, actors, celebrities, producers, directors. I would love to be in a movie, but not in a speaking role. As people can see, I speak very well, but I cannot memorize lines. I can't. I can't. But I can be a non-speaking role person. I can be like one of those henchmen that doesn't speak but has that demeanor. The face. Side view, front view, anger view. So, but anyway, I digress. Now, folks, I want you to have a good and I should have done like this so you can see my whole face. The only part I saw my chin, but that's fine. Have a great day. It's Monday. It's a typical Monday that nobody doesn't like. I hate Mondays too. I had to work on Saturday and Sunday, like I said. This is why I brought this out. Anyway, that is all for now. Next week, who knows what I'm gonna have? Yeah. Hopefully I'll have a guest. I'll try to get a guest on. Frankie, anything? No, Frankie didn't have nothing. So Frankie's right here. There you go, Frankie. But again, I'm sorry. So follow me. Go to Linktree, linktr.ee/Tattoo Squid Podcast. You got everything on there, from where you get your podcasts or where do you listen to your podcasts from. There's videos of YouTube, your TikTok, Instagram. There is Tumblr. I think Tumblr's on there. And there's other stuff. There's also a page where you can buy merchandise. So you get a merchandising of anything from shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, shower curtains, which is I really, and I said this many times, I'm like, you should get shower curtains. If anybody ever gets shower curtains from the thing, take a picture of it, post it, tag my name, And I would love to see these shower curtains in your lovely bathrooms. Uh, and you get a bunch of other stuff. You get skateboard. You might have cups, magnets, stickers, whatnot. So yeah, that's about the sum of it all. Yeah. For right now. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry for boring you at the end of it. Because I'm like trying to think of something very quirky and yeah. And when you do blogs or something, you really have to know what you're thinking. I do know what I'm thinking, but I'd like to be funny about it. So, with that said, I bid you adieu, and I will talk to you again. Have a good day. Bye bye. So long. Adios. Thank you.